This is Sloboda Goncharovka, which is located to the southwest of Sudzha, closer to the border with the Sumy region. Currently, volunteers from the Patriot organization are going around houses and looking for civilians who remain here. They are being taken to Kursk if anyone wishes to go, and there it goes. That's the scout returning. There are constantly birds in the sky, just constantly. The sound of buzzing drones, it never disappears. From the overall cacophony of war, yes, and the artillery is constantly working, as well as the multiple rocket launch systems. But I will note that today, as I am here in Goncharovka, on Sunday, Ukrainian artillery is working significantly less than it was on the second day after. The liberation of Sudzha, that is, apparently the artillery positions are still retreating. They have not yet taken new positions, but there are significantly more drones, meaning that having retreated, the enemy's UAV units are still taking some positions, and they are starting to work very actively on our logistical chains. For example, the entrance to Sudzha. The ring at the entrance to Sudzha, it is controlled by Ukrainian drones, and periodically they hit the incoming vehicles. Here is Alexei, the leader of Sandra, but Patriot. Please tell us about the first results of the first days of the liberation of Sudzha Surzansky. In what condition are you taking people away? What are you encountering?
There are different people. These exhausted grandmothers and grandfathers. There are wounded who have to be carried 3 to 4 kilometers, transported on such garden carts, carried by hand over the bridge. Around 300 people. After 4 days, we evacuated them. Many people do not agree to leave on their own. You see, if I leave, we have to. That's what sticks are looking for. Relatives. Order medicine, bread. We are trying now for those who remain to gather this information. Yesterday we brought 10 loaves of bread, heart medications, and women's medicines. So we are working slowly. Every day we cover 20 kilometers, visiting all the houses. What condition were the people in? Are there any with injuries? Yesterday there was a woman with a chest wound. Her arm was festering. A woman had injuries to both legs. A drone arrived 3 months ago. Sister Perminkovogo was lying there. You set up conclusions if you turn it off.
I need to leave a little here. Come here.
Hello! Will you do it this way? Of course.
It's necessary.
We are not asking. We are telling you, you will. So take your document. Take the minimum of things. Don't take much. They will provide everything there, and you will return soon. You can take the rest later. Arrange all the payments. Everything will work out.
And you will calmly come back.
Because now they will start to bite back. I understood strongly, and it will be fine. They said 2 only and 1 in the same. Just can't.
No, you really say it's not allowed?
You see, what you will do, we are all waiting for tomorrow, and how you work. Somehow you interact with the Ministry of Defense, with the Ministry of Emergency Situations, yes, with the Ministry of Emergency Situations we act with.
They are bringing a bus, because a civilian bus cannot be brought here. They will burn it. Yes, they will burn it. That's the goal. They are stationed 40 kilometers from the service. We transport people in our armored vehicles to this location. We named the gathering point. I won't say which one. People either come there or we bring them. And after a certain moment, the bus arrives. We load it and take it away. Several groups are working. We also receive information from the military who are moving further. Yesterday, a woman who was injured, one of the units asked for help, even though the combat was close by. But we had to go and rescue the woman.
So we are working with all the services intelligence and will not become anyone. Don't gather tomorrow. Let's choose at 12 o'clock today. You
Recorded? Yes, my computer already had a conflict.
12 is suitable, and let's do 12.
from there. Let's do 12, 12, 12. Yes, like these families survived.
You know that they waited, believing that eventually their own would come. After all, there are Ukrainians.
These 7 months were spent struggling for existence, fetching water, coal, firewood.
Yes, water at one end of the city, firewood at the other.
Especially since they managed to overcome this. They traveled 1.5 kilometers for water. Well, for good water. In the river. It wasn't found like that.
But then I went out, tried, reached the river. You can't do it with a bucket. They will work. This happens far away. But the most difficult thing is water, of course. You understand?
And why didn't they let them out here when... What are you not doing?
In truth, they were being deceitful. We approached them many times. Offered, you see. It was convenient for them when you were here because they used the civilian population as a shield. Your own guns were firing there. Why didn't they forcibly take you away then?
They say, that's it, let's go.
It was convenient.
Yes, I mean, don't you want something to eat?
No. We came to pick you up.
Huh?
Let's go.
Where to?
In the know. Why?
To live.
What's your name?
No, I'm staying home.
What's your last name?
Povcharenko.
Povcharenko.
And my wife for me.
Alexei. Aha is looking for you. Built a house there and it burned down.
Yes, just built it.
Fuck! Oh!
Is looking for you who is the son? The son. I have 2 sons. They are looking for you. At least get in touch.
Then he'll come in 2 weeks.
But no, I can't leave this.
Guys, it's not...
Everything is absolutely fine with me. I'm alive and well.
Let's go now.
Go for 2 weeks, meet up for a little while.
No, I literally can't leave this here, you know? I have a farm, a house.
What is this?
In general, what drives people who refuse to leave?
Here, it's 7 months of deprivation, yes, and here you can move to an area where there is electricity, water, heat, food, hot meals. But still, the farm remains. Cats, dogs, chickens, pigs.
And in my opinion, they don't want to leave and can't be persuaded. What state are people in if you look at them psychologically?
There are men who are combative, women in a depressed state. They are very
Distressed.
After all, they have lived for 7 months under shelling. And sometimes their nerves don't give out.
We have to calm them down.
Therefore, the work is more about calming them than persuading them. First, listen to the psychologist. And then listen, negotiate.
Therefore, it takes a lot of time.
Volunteers, humanitarian workers and volunteers go around the areas that are practically in the red zone, that is, near the line of combat contact, and explain how one can get out safely.
There is a designated point where you need to arrive at a specific time, and there an armored minibus will pick you up and take you to the rear. There are elderly people, there are people
Who are immobile. Such people are simply carried out by the guys, with their own hands placed in garden carts and taken out. And this is over several kilometers, 5, 10, 15 kilometers. They are simply taken to the rear. There are those who do not want to leave, yes, and with them they work constantly, persuading. And there are also signals, yes, where relatives ask to check addresses. Most often at these addresses. There is nothing there.
But now the guys have been asked to check the hospital.
In Sloboda Goncharovka, where the body of one of the first victims should be. During the invasion, it was a pregnant girl.
They were stopped by Ukrainian soldiers when they tried to leave by car. The girl was shot.
And just now in this hospital, we found the body of this victim of the Ukrainian invasion.
And how did she die?
They were passing from the very first hours. And she, with her husband and their Spanish child, they were leaving. Right here, not far, there is a wide wing. And they were caught at some point. She was crushed. It was a pregnancy. I don't remember what he did.
We are now in the central part of the city of Sudzha. Here, if you look to the left, is the so-called House of Plenaries. They started major renovations here, but unfortunately, they didn't finish in time. Further on, we have the building of our first main school. It was located in 4 buildings. Here's one, and we see the second one damaged. Next to it is our, so to speak, the pearl of our district. A sports complex, the first sports complex that appeared in our district. Unfortunately, it is destroyed. We had only 3. This sports complex, a flat structure, had an ice arena and a swimming pool. Unfortunately, all 3 are already damaged, but it can be said that 2 of them are almost destroyed. This is a street, one of the central streets, 1st of May Street. Last year, there was a plan to reconstruct this street under the National Project for Small Towns in Russia. The tiles are still here. Yes, you see the tiles are here. They planned to beautify the city here, so to speak, but it didn't work out. Here we see the building of the political department. The contents, well, let's say the private sector, libraries, shops, but everything, as we can see, is already in a poor, depressing state.
We will hope that we build everything. We will return. The district administration.
There's no way to give here because, well. Dmitry Kamzashev, the district director. Something more precisely remains of it. Here, Dmitry Kamzashev survived. One window. This was exactly my office. There was an accessory hall here. It was also an office. The administration garages, what's in the soul.
Now, when you look at where your office was, is it hard?
As if it's not the first time I'm here. The first time was very hard, emotional. When I approached, even though I saw, as we worked with the guys, we flew over the authors, saw it. But the impression when you look at the screen is one thing. When you go there, it's very emotional. It was distressing. Of course, I was very upset.
This is my house. I built it myself with you. And up to the bluff of the siding machines. I have kick motorcycles, a lot of things, but as we see, they're gone now. Stolen. Well, no one is here, most importantly. Stolen, taken, everything is on the doll. Garage. Well, it's just standing. Oh, the pole, my favorite blue one. Here we brewed moonshine. Better not to be greedy. Let's go for a run. Well, in short, that's all, basically, with you.
Here. What are feelings? I'm in shock, of course, mixed feelings. On one hand, it's clear that there's joy that I finally managed to get home to what I see. But honestly, for these houses, it's worse on the streets. There are plenty of civilian cars, such as these broken ones. But they were already used by Ukrainian servicemen. They simply took them from the local population. Civilian transport. Broke into garages. Took them from parking lots. And used them for movement to avoid being attacked. Respect to the Russian army by us.
Not directly, just there. They say, why are you taking it? In some discussion or debate, he points to KMA 545. Here is our main argument. Also, they took a car, went, and in many countries, they didn't ask for permission, guys. How did they behave towards the civilian population here? Guys, I'll be honest with you. There were idiots. There were normal ones. But the normal ones were mostly those with whom they were stationed. Those who lived under Soviet rule were more or less balanced. And these thugs were writing all sorts of graffiti with spray paint. Those ones, yes.
This is the center of Goncharovka, a burned Ukrainian column. It was destroyed by drones on fiber optics. All around here are these lines from the drones. It's symbolic that the street where international equipment was burned, because here you have a Kazakh, a striker, and something that looks like a Max Pro. And the level of creativity of the Ukrainian SPU officers. They simply poked out the eyes of the guy in the photo and drew, well, what probably bothers them the most. In their restless behinds. Here's what the two left behind in the house after themselves and their belongings. Just another eviction of the century for us. From even a python. Children's clothes and women's were taken out. Creators, they lived comfortably in the basements. They painted their little gazebo. And then they go to the backyard. Open the door. And enter the position. Can you imagine? Well, this is, of course, style. And here are the firing positions, the firing line. You come out directly onto the Sudzha. You can see the elevator over there and the temple over there. Just like on the Leighton. The front continues to move. We continue to liberate the Kursk region. There's just a little bit left, but of course the operation doesn't end here because the military, they don't operate by the concepts of a state border that is drawn on the map. Certainly. We will mark the event of the complete liberation of the Kursk region, but then we have an operation for establishing a security zone, meaning we are opening the Sumy direction. This doesn't mean that we will necessarily go to the city of Sumy, but creating some kind of buffer in the Sumy region, as it seems to me, we will definitely do.